This is a photo that I took on the street, and basically all it is some plaster on some bricks, and my goal is to turn this a weird little photo into an image of a sheep. Why, you ask? Well, because something that happens to me all the time is I'll be walking around, I'll see a crack in a wall, or I'll see just a shape and it will remind me of something. So I want to turn this into a drawing, and I'm going to try and make a series of them. So wish me luck, and I'll be back in a second. So to start off, I'm just adding a little bit of white at a very low opacity to the shape where I see the sheep's head. And as you can see, I'm just sort of flushing it out. There's no guarantee that this is going to work, but it's an experiment and part of the fun of what I'm trying to do. So we'll see. Now I've selected black, and I'm just going to go into it, the drawing a bit with the black, and I'm going to try, oh, I don't like that one, so I'm going to use the reverse action to get rid of it. That's a pretty cool feature. And I've got a low opacity again, and I'm just going to add in a little bit of detail here and there. And hopefully by the end this thing looks like a sheep. So one of my goals with this is, yeah, I want to draw over the shape that I see to create the image I want, but I also want to leave as much original texture as I can. So right now I'm using the eraser tool, and I'm taking some of the whites that I had originally put in, and I'm taking them back out. And now I'm going to go back in again at a low intensity black, and I'm going to draw back in some of the shadows. It's kind of this sort of balance between adding and taking away, but that's kind of what makes it fun. You work it up, you work up the drawing, and you're looking for the shapes you want, and you're adding to it and taking away, and hopefully by the end we're left with something good. We're creating an eye shape, but for that I want a smaller brush, keeping the opacity low so that I'm not changing a whole lot at once, one time. So now I'm just adding a little bit to the ear, trying to define the ear. Again, working it up. You may be wondering what the purpose of this is. Well, it's just fun, and you know what? This program allows me to do the kind of things that I want to do with this. So maybe this is a lamb, not a sheep. And for years I've been wanting to take the things that I just see every day on the street and draw into them. So I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. I just made some dark smudges, just a little too big, a little too in your face, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to use the back arrow to delete them. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like the fact that I can do that. Saves a lot of hassle and a lot of time. Again, I'm taking away and putting in. It's called working up a drawing. I'm pretty happy with how this has been turning out. I think the next thing I want to do is add some horn. I just gotta figure out where to put them. I think right about here. And again, I'm just using very low opacity so that I can just add a little bit at a time. Sort of creates a nice delicate way to work something in. I'm just working that in, and I'm creating a middle shadow right now, so that has the illusion of a spherical object. And I added in the eye before. It turned out pretty well. So as you can see, I've used the eraser to take away some of the whites, but I'm probably going to put some back in as well. Because there's a fine balance between taking away too much and adding too much. So, let's see. It's starting to look like a goat. A little bit hairy. I'm going to add some shadows again at a very low opacity, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I'm adding some shadows now. And I'm actually going over the parts I had taken away. So what it's doing is it's leaving a texture, but it's adding some shadow. So I get a little bit of the best of both worlds. So now I'm going in and I'm adding some final highlights to this thing. I think it looks like a goat. It's a little bit dark. I want to brighten it up a bit. Whenever I've seen a goat at like a petting zoo or something, it's always had these crazy veins all over it. So I was trying to capture a little bit of that. And I think that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm pretty happy with it. I'd say that looks like a goat to me. And maybe it's a cow goat. I don't know. Maybe it's a mutant goat. Or maybe it's just a goat. Yeah. So until next time, hope you enjoy it. And try Doodlecast Pro. It's pretty cool.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.